Hi, my name is Dominique Shinkiewicz, and I'm a rising senior at St. Thomas Aquinas High School. I recently came back from the Washington University Premed Institute. It was 3 weeks, and it was at Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri, not Washington, D.C., not Washington State. So there's not really a lot of videos about like summer school med things, and if there is one, it's not about this one. So I thought I would make one because I really would have wanted to watch it before I applied or before I went there, just to like find out exactly what it is, because on the website it's like a paragraph about the research one and a paragraph about the clinical one, and you're just like, well, this sounds really cool, but what am I gonna do? So yeah, it's split up into two parts, research or clinical, and there's 2 sessions, June and July, and each session has a research and clinical one. The sessions are 3 weeks long, and the July one ran from July 13th, I think that was a Sunday, to August 1st, which was a Friday. You're there 3 weeks, you live in the dorms, you meet a lot of people. There's 60 kids, and it's normally like 30 and 30. This time clinical had a little bit more, and it wasn't completely 60. It was like 58 or something, but you know. What else? The difference really, other than what they say on the website, clinical is more like MD and research is more like PhD, which is like clinical, you do more clinical things, like you learn like what is an H&P and how to actually take one and what do physicians do, and you also get to tour around the med school and the hospital, which I think is one of the biggest hospitals in the United States, or the biggest hospital in the United States. The research kids, on the other hand, they don't go to the hospital, or maybe they go like once or something. They do a lot of research, obviously, in labs. I think they did something with bacteria or phages and micropipetting. I know at the end they had to do a project with meat, which sounds kind of cool if you're into that kind of stuff. I know some people who had parents as physicians and already knew what an H&P was and what exactly pharmacists and physical therapists and occupational therapists do. They were like, well, I already know most of this, or I don't really want to do any of this, so let's like try and do the research and get into that stuff. So it's really what you want to do. What else? So I'm going to run through a typical day now, because that's always nice to know. Classes start at 9. So I would wake up the first day. I woke up at 7:30 because I wanted to be super early, so you made sure you weren't late to class, because that would have been super awkward. And it's actually not that big of a campus, but it is really pretty. And so then you'd go by yourself or with your friends to the Duck, which is spelled D-U-C, not D-U-C-K. It stands for Danforth University Center. That's where all the food is. They give you a card which opens your room and a house that you're staying at. I say house, but it's building. And also has $100 per week for food, which you think you'd run out of, but it actually lasts a substantial amount. And if you do run out, they would like give you more money. But yeah, then you get breakfast. There's coffee there. Don't worry. I was kind of scared, but it's okay. Then you'd get breakfast. You'd eat with your friends, and then you'd walk over, which is really just like a 5-minute walk. But the first day you don't really know where you're going. They have an app. It's like the WashU app or something. And I downloaded it because they were like, oh, download it. But I never actually used it because my friends knew how to work it better. And then once you know where you're going, it's like you know where you're going. Then, so you'd eat breakfast, you go to the class. We had a class in like a lecture hall, and people would come and talk to us. This was our schedule. That's what they gave us in the beginning. And, yeah. In the mornings, they were just a bunch of lectures, mostly. Like, we had this we had a lecture history of medicine, neuroscience, immune system, nutrition, biomedical ethics, zoology. Yeah, and sometimes you would actually have readings to do, so yes, you do have homework, but it's not that much. You'd have readings, and then in class you would get to do like a small activity, which is just like answering questions about it. Cool things that we got to do in the morning that does not include lectures are we got to dissect a sheep heart and a cow eye, and that's everyone. In the morning, everyone's together, clinical and research. So all 60 kids in the lecture hall. We got to look at x-rays, and although it was kind of hard, some people knew a little bit more because they took like AP Bio. I have not yet. I will this year. But, so yeah, it all evens out. If you're scared that you won't know anything, don't stress. I probably knew less going in, and I actually won at the end the science fair thing. But, yeah. You get to learn a lot, and if you think you know all this stuff, there's still things to learn. What else? Okay, so that was from 9 to 12. Then, so sometimes, yeah, the lectures are like 3 hours and they get a little long. So then at 12, you have break for lunch. Research kids have lunch from 12 to 1:30. Clinical kids have lunch from 12 to 1 because at 1, clinical kids have to meet at a certain place to go to the metro with all the clinical kids and then take the metro to the med school. So yeah, only an hour to lunch, which is not a problem. You have plenty of time. So we'd go again to the Duck, eat, and then upstairs in the Duck is a place called the Fun Room where people would hang out, play foosball. It was super cool. After that, I'm mostly going to focus on clinical now because that's what I did. Clinical kids would clinical kids would meet at I should cut this out.